Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our seizure detection devices webinar. I'm Michelle Kilhold. I am the science program manager for KCNQ2 Cure Alliance, and I'm going to be introducing our speaker and kind of moderating tonight. So we're just going to start with some quick housekeeping. Um, we will be recording this, so you will be able to rewatch or share the video from our YouTube channel once we get it up on there. There is a Q&A session at the end, so feel free to drop questions or comments into the chat kind of as we move along, as long as that gets set up. And then if you do want to ask something live, make sure that you use your raise hand function feature during the Q&A so that we can turn your mic on. I think that's it for housekeeping. So our speaker tonight is Katie Gaughan, and she's coming to us from the Danny Did Foundation. This is a foundation that was started by the Stanton family, built out of their own lived experience with the goal to support families who are affected by epilepsy and with the aim to help prevent seizure-related deaths. She's been part of the foundation for years, starting as a volunteer, and now she is their program director. And Katie's brain, she brings an experienced perspective with a personal connection to the Stanton family, as well as time spent as a paramedic, responding to and caring for people during seizures. So tonight she's going to walk through kind of some of the different seizure monitoring devices that are out there, letting you know kind of what they are, how they work, and what are some of the things that you should consider when you are choosing between different options. So thank you so much for being here, Katie, and I'll let you take it from here.
Great. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I greatly appreciate being included in your evening. As Michelle mentioned, my name is Katie Gaughan. I'm the programs director here at the Danny Did Foundation. The Danny Did Foundation was founded in Chicago by Mike and Marianne Stanton after they lost their 4-year-old son, Danny, to SUDEP, or sudden unexpected death in epilepsy. The name of our organization comes from the last line of Danny's obituary written by his dad that read, "Please go and enjoy your life." Danny did. And that's really the goal of our foundation, to do all we can to support families facing seizures and epilepsy so they can enjoy life. We engage neurologists, other healthcare providers, families, advocates, general public, to all join us in our goal to protect people of all ages with epilepsy. So at Danny Did, we have two main points of focus. First, to increase public awareness about epilepsy and the risks that accompany it, in particular SUDEP. And our second area of focus is to increase awareness of and access to devices and technology that alerts to seizure. And that's really kind of where we're going to focus today, as Michelle mentioned. So technology within epilepsy is a fast-growing field. We consider devices and technology as a complement to medication, surgery, and diet as part of a patient's treatment plan, so kind of all-encompassing. We view devices to be another tool in the caregiver's toolkit. A device doesn't ever replace a parent's instincts or their vigilance, but a monitoring and alerting system can be one piece of the puzzle, lending backup that you will be notified if a seizure is taking place. We all understand that monitoring seizure activity within a hospital is so important. We typically would never leave a patient unmonitored or unwatched in that setting. But when a patient leaves the hospital, then what? Monitoring, we believe, is just as important at home. We feel strongly about the simple concept of early intervention. If you're present, you can take action. Again, you have a chance to keep your loved ones safe and instigate your seizure action plan. A device alert can lead to administering rescue medication, preventing injury, or really just being present, as no one should ever be alone during a seizure. So, monitoring and alerting devices have several benefits to both the person living with epilepsy and their caregiver. They can improve seizure tracking. As we all know, a person living with epilepsy may not recall all of their seizures or the details around them. Also, during a caregiver's busy day, stopping to document all the details, the time, the duration, any sort of symptoms or any triggers, it's not always possible. This can then lead to inaccurate or incomplete information for your healthcare provider, which can certainly impact a person's treatment plan. They can be reassuring. Families and caregivers have greater peace of mind, especially when they can't constantly be supervising. Um, Seizure detection devices can improve sleep by reducing fear and uncertainty at night. Knowing that a device will detect a seizure and alert someone provides reassurance, allowing everyone to sleep with fewer interruptions. Also, the person with epilepsy can feel safer sleeping alone. This increases sense of security, can lead to less stress, fewer awakenings, and a better overall sleep quality. Seizure detection devices can support independence. People with epilepsy can carry out daily activities with more confidence, knowing help can be alerted if needed. Detection devices add safety by providing early alerts when they detect seizure related movements, heart rate changes, and notify a caregiver immediately. A quick alert means you can, again, launch that seizure action plan and lower the risk of complications. We encourage you to partner with your healthcare provider to explore how a seizure detection device can enhance safety and quality of life for a person living with epilepsy. If your doctor does not bring it up, we would absolutely empower you to instigate that conversation. So within epilepsy tech, there's a range of devices. As you may know, there are surgically implanted devices such as the VNS and the RNS technology that you can discuss with your doctor to learn if potentially you or your loved one is a candidate. Some neurosimulators can also be included in a seizure action plan. If a person senses a seizure is imminent or a parent observes a warning sign, they can place that magnet over the simulator. This can stop or shorten a seizure. However, today we will focus on non-invasive seizure alerting devices. So for people facing seizures, nighttime can be an incredibly scary time. An alerting device can provide a layer of support that a family needs. There are devices that help alert to seizure movements during sleep that do not require the user to wear anything. Some can actually record the seizure, and then those recordings can then be shared with their doctor. So I have a few of the nocturnal monitoring systems on the screen here. The MFit movement monitor is an option for nocturnal monitoring. It's a monitoring system for quickly detecting and alerting to abnormal, repetitive convulsive movement. This system is easy to install. It has no body contact attached to the individual that would potentially interfere with peaceful sleep. The MFit movement monitor consists of two main components that you see there on your screen, that flexible, ultra thin under mattress bed sensor, and then the bedside monitor with the embedded software. And that is where the alert is going to come from when it picks up on that convulsive movement on the mattress. The middle one that you see here is the SAMI monitor. It detects a wide range of movements, even more subtle movements. The camera is connected to an iPad that the caregiver can have with them wherever they are in the home. It is a live look in to check or listen. So there's also audio. When the camera detects movement, an audible alarm will sound through the iPad if that movement is repetitive and is lasting for a certain amount of time. Then this alarm will sound through the iPad. The caregiver can get in and check on their loved ones, of course, intervene should they need them to. Once it's triggered by movement, this is the one that does record the video, and it would begin recording at the first sign of movement. All of those videos are then recorded there on that iPad for you to then review and determine later if it was something that you wanted to share with your doctor, you would be able to do so. And then Night Watch is designed to notify you about seizures during sleep, tonic-clonic seizures, specifically tonic-clonic seizures. It will effectively notify a caregiver. It detects tonic seizure clusters or prolonged hyperkinetic seizures and myoclonic clusters. So Night Watch includes that armband that you see there. It's a wireless sensor. It's continuously monitoring to detect seizures using heart rate and movement while the wearer sleeps. Night Watch is intended to be used at home or residential care facility by people diagnosed with epilepsy ages 4 and older. Night Watch is now officially here in the US and has been FDA cleared. So it is available for purchase in the US. This device does require a prescription because it is FDA cleared. So you would need to check in with your doctor about that. And then Night Watch also requires an intake call. I would certainly encourage you, if you're looking at this one, to check out their website, reach out to them. All of these people, all these manufacturers are just lovely. So don't ever hesitate to reach out to them. But Night Watch does require, if you're looking at making that purchase, an intake call first before the purchase is initiated. So for individuals that have seizures at any time of day or night, a wearable option might be best. So there are wristband sensors as well as mobile apps that are compatible with Apple and Android watches. These devices allow an individual to maintain some independence, such as go to work, school, go out to play with their friends, with some comfort knowing that their device will alert a caregiver in the instance of a seizure. So a couple of these here, the Epi Monitor features a wearable watch and a smartphone application for detecting possible generalized tonic-clonic seizures and monitoring epilepsy. So the Epi Monitor subscription package, it includes seizure alerts, a seizure diary, alert locations, and then this product is FDA cleared for adults and children ages 6 and up. And it does require a prescription from your doctor. So this is another one that you would chat with your doctor about and get a prescription. The Inspire app detects repetitive shaking motion and elevated or decreased heart rate, as well as provides a geolocation for the user. It signals the user's device to send a text or phone call alert to whomever the user designates. So you'll have a few caregivers within your app, similarly to your Epi Monitor that we just talked about, and they will get a notification that potentially a seizure is happening, as well as your location. Users can also summon help by the push of a button. Alerts can be sent to any phone, anywhere, and detailed reports of each event can be securely accessed for later review with your physician. So it also kind of has that diary piece as well. Again, this app is compatible with both Apple and Android phones and products. Epi Watch is an app running on Apple Watch. So this is an Apple specific product that detects alerts and motions of tonic-clonic seizures. Seizure alerts are sent to the caregiver. Contacts, again, set up by the user in their app. It's delivered via phone, text, and email. So you'll have the record that a seizure occurred. Seizure alerts include the time and last known location for the individual experienced seizure activity. This product is another FDA cleared product and clinically validated for adults and children ages 5 and up, and is FSA and HAS eligible. Epi Watch requires a prescription. Again, because it's FDA cleared, you will have to chat with your doctor about this one and get an Epi Watch specific prescription. Both Epi Watch and Epi Monitor do have prescription templates on their website that you can actually bring with you to your doctor's office when you're having the conversation. And they, if needed, you can obtain a prescription through Epi Watch's virtual care partner, which is Neural Health. So again, stopping at the manufacturer's website is definitely encouraged because you'll find out all the features that they have. Boundary Care is an assistive technology platform centered around a smartwatch, specifically leveraging And Apple Watch's capabilities that it already has. Boundary Care offers health monitoring, so heart rate, periodic O2 saturation monitoring, and heart rhythm. That's not continuous O2 monitoring. It does just kind of check in every once in a while. So that's an important piece to keep in mind. And then, as well as seizure symptom detection, fall detection, and again, that GPS tracking. And you can set, just like the name, boundaries. You can set boundaries. And so if your loved one leaves that space, that safe area, it would notify you. So it is designed for elopement and wandering prevention. This one is definitely newer to us, and we have kind of limited feedback on it, but we do have some kind families who are using it and providing feedback to us. So when we get to Q&A, if you have questions about this one, I'll do my best, but we are still gathering feedback on this one. So all of these devices do require the user to have their own smartphone. So that's an important piece of this. And it also suggests that the device connected, so their smartphone that's connected to their watch, is approximately 25 feet from the user. So those are some considerations when looking at a wearable device. Just to kind of tap into the seizure detection device pipeline, here's kind of what's coming. As mentioned, Night Watch is officially here. That has been available overseas for several years, but just in the last month, they're now here in the US. LAMC is in the pipeline. It's a contact-free epilepsy monitoring device. It's integrated into a standard lamp that uses advanced video and motion analysis technology to detect characteristic movement patterns associated with seizures, particularly tonic-clonic type seizures. It does not require a wearable. Instead, it just kind of sits in the room, like on a nightstand or a dresser, and is continuously analyzing motion with algorithms validated in clinical settings. When unusual movements are detected, LAMC will automatically send real-time alerts and automated phone calls to designated contacts and allows users to save and review short video snippets of each event to, again, kind of support those care decisions, provide your doctors and physicians with a fuller picture of what might be going on at home. The device actually processes motion data into a privacy preserving way. So it converts your images into these motion metrics, which is pretty exciting technology rather than storing identifiable video, and is designed to run from a standard power outlet without the need for battery. LAMC plans to be available in the US in like the mid 2027. I would encourage you to visit their website, sign up for their wait list, keep track of their progress. And I believe they might have like a newsletter just to kind of update you on where they are in their process. And then a seizure detection and prediction device that's in the works is Theta Neurotech system, consisting of this wearable EEG patch called the Patch, and it has a companion mobile app. The patch is adhered behind one or both of the earlobes and is designed to continuously collect EEG signals over extended periods. Batteries that last about 2 to 3 days for continuous monitoring on a single charge. The EEG signals are streamed to the paired app where machine-like algorithms are analyzing the data to generate a real-time likelihood or risk score of an impending seizure. The system is intended to detect changes in brain activity that precedes a seizure, with reported prediction up to approximately 30 to 60 minutes before the onset. The app displays the risk score, sends customizable alerts to the user and the caregiver, and can produce exportable seizure frequency reports. So again, bringing that information to your healthcare provider is available for this one. So Theta Neurotech's device is currently in development, and they're currently working on FDA clearance and doing more clinical trials. This is a great one also to kind of keep your finger on and check out their website, join their mailing list. This eventually will need a prescription, but we like to kind of share the exciting things that are in the pipeline and coming. And it's hopeful to know that so many wonderful, wildly smart people are working on these devices continuously. So we definitely encourage caregivers and patients to do their own research into seizure detection devices, as well as consult with your doctor to determine what may work best for you or for your loved one. Our site will provide device descriptions, links to device web pages, as well as informational webinars that are done with Danny did, but with the manufacturers. And they completely explain what their device does and how to get it. And that is helpful in determining, will this be a good fit in your home? So caregivers can find resources on the Danny Did website on the devices page. And then it'll help with the selection process. We provide some templates for questions that you may want to ask the manufacturer as well as your doctor. A lot of families and patients really find this helpful when trying to navigate selecting a device, as well as those conversations with their healthcare provider, and not only about devices, but also about SUDEP. If finances are a barrier for a family, they can apply for a grant from the Danny Did Foundation to make that purchase. So families all over the US and the world can reach out and apply for grant funding. If you're approved for a device grant, we'll provide the funds actually directly to you so you can make your purchase of the device that's the best fit for you and your family. I did want to just take a quick moment to share this feedback we received from a grantee family. This story really drives home how a detection device can make a big difference and be an important piece of a person's seizure action plan. This can set a plan in motion and potentially save a life. So this was a feedback from a sweet family that we received. We really would like to serve as a place of support, information, as well as a place to help families in financial need. You're always welcome to reach out to me directly to ask questions. Our website, dannydid.org, can also provide information and brochures that you can utilize during those conversations and during your research of seizure detection devices. But myself and my colleagues are certainly around. If you are feeling like you want to chat through anything, don't ever hesitate to reach out. And here's my contact information. You have my email. And again, you can find us at dannydid.org. I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time this evening to be here together with us and allowing me into your community. And I just want to say, please remember to go and enjoy your life. Danny did.
Thank you for that talk, Katie. That was great. I can see, I think the chat has started working. So if people want to put stuff in there, there's already a couple. I'll start off with one of the questions in the Q&A section.
Sure.
A lot of our kids have AAC on iPads. Are there options to connect to the iPad instead of maybe a smartphone device?
I didn't quite hear the first piece of that, but if you have an iPad at home, I think the question is, can they use it to connect to one of the watches? Is that right? Instead of a phone?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. It's a great question and one that we get a lot. The iPad would have to be able to utilize Bluetooth, download an app, send text messages, and make phone calls. So I know that there are some iPads that have all the bells and whistles and can do that. The iPad does have to be within 25 feet of the person. So if that individual is going to school or a program or work or anything like that, they would just have to make sure that that iPad is traveling with them and is in the classroom or in their same space. I think the biggest factor is making sure that it is capable to send text messages and phone calls so you're getting those alerts.
Good to hear.
Okay, there's another question, and hopefully you can hear me. Um, what would be the best device for autistic children who stim at night and trigger devices like the Epi monitor?
Another great question and something that we certainly talk through quite a bit with any of the wearables. Um, if you're looking for nocturnal monitoring, I would look at the ones that don't have the wearable piece. So you're looking at the MFit movement monitor and the SAMI, both of which are actually able to tailor the sensitivity. Um, and I know on the SAMI that you can also tailor the duration of time it's watching before that alert goes off on the iPad with the caregiver, meaning I believe the default's about 15 seconds of repetitive motion. Um, so if you know that your child sometimes at night will stim for 15 to 20 seconds, but a seizure usually lasts 20 to 30 or more, you could always tailor that. That's something that I would definitely encourage reaching out to that manufacturer, talking through those settings and making sure that you have it um, fit best to your home and to your needs. But certainly, probably something that's not a wearable is a little bit more reliable when it comes to determining between a stimming and a seizure activity. But um, most of the devices are going to alert to any sort of repetitive motion.
All right, thank you. Yeah, that makes sense. There's another question about infants. So, are there any devices that are that would qualify for infants right now, or is that maybe an up and coming?
Yeah. Um, the one we are talk about often and get the most requests for infants would be the SAMI monitor. Um, the little buddies can't really wear something. The watches are kind of too big. And nighttime, and most little friends are with somebody or with an adult. They're not walking to school or taking the bus quite yet. So during the day, they're probably pretty well monitored. So nighttime is usually can be a hard time of night to constantly be monitoring. So a lovely place to start is sometimes with the nocturnal monitor, especially for the little friends, and the SAMI is nice because it's watching from above, and so it's able to see their entire body. They're able to see the movement. They don't have to wear anything. You don't have to worry too much about with the unfit, which is another great option. But you want to really keep in mind: are they big enough to put enough weight on that mattress to set off to trigger that alert? So, Sammy is a nice place to start.
There's another question I can read it. They've used the or someone's used the Embrace Empatica, which previously or watch previously, and the contact points on the inside of the watch irritated their son's skin. Would the watches you talked about today, would that be a problem with those?
Um, you guys have good questions. This is another good one. So, I will say if you were using the Embrace 2 by Empatica, they have made some changes. The watch face itself is a little bit different. With the Epi monitor, it's a bit of a newer version. So I would encourage you to reach out to the manufacturer and just find out about what materials are on there and what is actually in contact with the skin. Um, and then once you have that information, certainly compare it to what an Apple Watch is made out of or an Android watch. I know some of the Apple users will buy, I think they have like a specific, like there's like a titanium one and there's one made out of something else. Like there's different products that they make specifically for skin allergies and things like that. So doing some research on that and finding out what's causing the irritation, and then you can pinpoint which watch might work. A lot of the apps work similarly. And I will say like one might work better for another family and another family might have better luck with a different one. So but similar concepts. They're going to pick up on that convulsive movement, send out those alerts to multiple caregivers. Um, and so finding one that is going to be the best fit, meaning true fit, is going to be your deciding factor, I think.
We have another question about the Denny Did Foundation grant program. Is that available to all countries or is it limited?
Great question. So, if you're talking outside of the US, it really depends on the manufacturer. And so we sort of help facilitate those conversations a little bit and find out where you are. Will that company ship to you? And then most of our grant funding, as I mentioned, we work with families and not companies. So that typically means that all the grant funding is sent directly to the family for them to make their purchase. So you have the relationship with the manufacturer, you might have the warranty, anything that's coming with it. You've done all that, it's your account. But when it comes to overseas or out of the country grants, we do kind of work a little bit differently. We work alongside the company a little bit more to help facilitate that purchase. But again, it comes down to, is it available in your country? Will it ship there? An important piece to keep in mind is that the grant does not cover duties and taxes. So when the device gets to wherever you are, it certainly stops in customs, and then you would be responsible for duties and taxes. But I'm happy to chat more about that whole process and get into more in depth if somebody wanted to reach out.
I have a question of my own, if I can ask. So
Yeah.
wearables generate so much data that I think is really interesting. Do any of these companies plan on doing anything with this data, or is there any sort of research that could be done with these kinds of things?
Um, Wonderful question. And it's always a part of the conversation, because there is so much data being collected with any of these devices, really. And it's certainly a conversation that we've been a part of and we know these device companies are talking about. Different devices do have different studies going on. I know right now, I believe when you go, if you're going to purchase an Epi monitor, there's an option to opt into a study, and they're actually using um, the data that you give your consent for them to pull and to use and to look at. And so they're using that data in different studies, and then it's just going to be used to enhance the product, enhance features, and things like that. I'm trying to think if there's any other current ones happening, but certainly when you go to make your purchase or checking out manufacturers' websites, I would definitely encourage you to see what studies they have going on currently, and if you can be a part of it, because it's hugely impactful overall. It can really just enhance what these devices are doing in the long run and make them even better than what they are. So I know device companies, to answer your question, they do studies. Sometimes they're a little bit more controlled within an EMU or a specific population or with a specific doc or something like that. But sometimes companies just do them broadly. As people purchase, they can sign up.
Hi, my name is Brooke Babineau. I'm the scientific director at KCNQ2 Cure Alliance. Just also extending my thanks and appreciation for you being here today. This is, I know, um, just a sensitive topic, and yet I'm so glad you're out here discussing it. So my question actually relates very closely to Michelle's, which is not so surprising. I've known her 10 years, so we tend to mind meld like that. With the data piece, it's sort of two parts to that. So great to know it's involved in research. I think that's awesome, and we can kind of take that into consideration. Um, and then I guess so the next part of that is like, do you know if any of these like types of devices have been used in clinical studies? Are they using these to track, like when they're kind of looking at countable seizures and looking to see a seizure reduction? Have devices been used, or is this still, I don't know if you know about like whether that's more of a still a seizure diary. Just curious if that would kind of sway anyone towards one or another.
Um, Wildly great question, and I want to do a little bit more research, and I will certainly get some more information for you and send it over. I do know that part of the FDA process is clinical studies. So these devices that are FDA cleared have been involved in clinical studies, and and I know in particular because we were just talking with Nightwatch that they've done many. Um, Many of which were done overseas because it's been at market in the Netherlands for years, and but they have a lot of studies that you can actually read through their website. There's a tab that you can click on the Nightwatch website, and there's articles and information about their clinical research and how the Nightwatch was utilized.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Some devices are being used in smaller studies within EMU stays and seeing how they work and monitoring the data collected and so on and so forth. But specifically, I would want to do a little more research and make sure I'm getting you the right information. But
Yeah, but that's helpful. I didn't even think
it is
about that
going on.
as like as an FDA approved device. They have at least the structure of proving their own
Mhm.
internal efficacy, right? And so theoretically, you could use that same framework if you're looking at a drug efficacy type trial. So, but yeah, whether or not that's
Yeah.
actually happened, I guess, is sort of an outstanding question. So we can.
Yes, and I will absolutely get back to you on that for sure. I can say just like kind of anecdotally, we have a lot of families who reach out to us looking for devices based on their physician's request or direction because they're changing a medication or
Right.
they are weaning off a medication and they want to see what's going on. Or um, they're getting ready for a potential surgery, or they just had an RNS or a VNS implanted, and the doctor's like, I want to see, how this is working for you. And so they're asking for these devices that either do a video or have a diary piece. So they have all that information that of what's happening at home as well, just to get that well-rounded picture.
And that actually leads me into the second part of my question. And apologies if you've answered this. I was like, yeah, my mind kept going to all these places of like what amazing technology.
Yeah.
Like, are the individuals allowed to access their own data? And I'm thinking of this in a way of like, we're building out a registry and we've been in talks about like, can we take the EEG data that individuals are going in and getting from their neurologist and putting it up in our registry. So like, would there be a way with these devices to similarly, like, can patients, individuals take the data their brain is generating and store it somewhere? Like, is that something that's available
So
now or
all
people
of
are talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, all of the data that is collected from these devices that are at home. So it's all stored on either your phone or the SAMI is storing it on that iPad that it's connected to. So it's really the patient or the caregivers they have complete access. The Night Watch has a portal that um, they call it like a base station or alarm box is connected to, and it's putting all the data into charts and into readable data that then if they choose, if the patient or the caregiver chooses, they can download it and share it with their physician. So
Okay.
as it relates to kind of your database and what you guys are looking at, it would be up to the family. It would be up to
Got
the
it.
patient to say, hey, I have all these videos or I have all this heart rate data that goes along with my seizure data from Night Watch, and I am giving consent to send it to you. It would be completely up to them because it's theirs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's super helpful. And not to dominate the conversation, but maybe just while I still have my mic off, if folks in the audience wouldn't mind, like anyone who wants to like raise their hand, and I'm curious, does how many folks in the community already have a device? Because like, if we were to explore being able to upload this data into the registry or into Citizen Health, if you don't mind kind of raising your hand as someone who's a user, and maybe we could reach out and talk more about what that would look like. I'd appreciate that. You can just sort of, oh yeah, can I see the raised hands? I don't know. Maybe you have to write in the chat like I have a device or something, just acknowledge. Or you can reach out to us afterwards. You can use either any of our names at KCNQ2Cure.org and just let us know. So, but thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Brooke, thanks for that question. It was great. It's kind of, I am not seeing any more questions coming in. I don't know if there's any last things you want to share with us, or we can wrap up.
Sure. Just again, thank you guys so much for including me and inviting me in here. And again, our website is dannydid.org. You can find my email there. We have a contact us email for any device questions or grant questions. Our grant application, just due to the volume, is currently closed, but it is set to open on June 15th. So check back on the website there. We do have quite a few that we're working through. We're small but mighty, and we will absolutely get to everybody. But I wanted to make sure that you weren't discouraged when you clicked on that if you go visit tonight and click around. But it is set to open on June 15th. But never hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to chat through anything you need.
All right, great. Thank you so much. This was such a nice conversation to have, and thank you to everyone who participated. And yes, if you want to talk to us about the devices you're using, feel free to reach out. There is going to be a link in your email for an evaluation of this webinar to the attendees. If you guys could fill that out, that will be great for us to get your feedback. And then yes, we'll get the video out in case you want to rewatch. And Marissa, if you have anything else to add.
Nope, you got it all. Thanks so much. Thanks
All
for
right.
joining, everyone.
Thank
And
you,
see you
guys.
for more webinars, hopefully soon.
Absolutely.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.